In this video we are going to see about motor sizing in EV, which is in a DT based manner.
So in this video we are going to discuss about the topic on the motor sizing, how the sizing of motor is done for different EVs. So that steps we are going to discuss in this video. So before going to into the today's topic, let us recap the thing that we have seen in the previous session. Okay? Yes, please.
Hi everyone. In last class we have seen about BLDC motor, which is brushless direct current, and it's a highly efficient and very durable motor type, which is recently used in many EVs and many vehicles. So EV, we have seen about the components, advantages, and working principle and construction of the motor. Like I would like to say about few key components of the motor, which is rotor, stator, and electronic controller, and position sensor.
Yes. So last class we had to discuss about the BLDC motor, its components, construction, and working. Okay. So let us step up into today's topic. Yes, you can start.
So hello everyone. Before getting to the topic, we need to know some important factors for motor sizing, like how much torque it needed and how much power it should be gives to the vehicle. The first one is vehicle mass. Most vehicles have various weights, like two-wheeler. We have a two-wheeler, four-wheeler, and heavy vehicle like that. We cannot use same motor for all vehicle. We need to consider the vehicle mass to get a needed torque and speed. The lower mass vehicle need low torque to move, and also if it goes to the heavy vehicles, we need a high torque. So we need to consider the correct motor size to give us the good torque. And the second one is decide the acceleration. So to move the vehicle fast, we need a high torque at the initial speed, and also on a low speed we need a high torque. Comparing to the smaller vehicle, the heavy vehicle need more torque at a speed. So we need to consider the acceleration also to sizing the motor. And also the next one is maximum speed. The car and two-wheeler gives the maximum speed on a vehicle compared to heavy vehicle. So if the motor need to give the high speed and also torque. So in a high speed we no need a high torque, but it need to give the high speed. To we need to consider the correct size of the motor to give the high speed to the vehicles. And next one is road gradient. The important thing is so many vehicles we will drive on a hill like that places. On the places we need a high torque to move the vehicle. We will go on a low speed. So the motor should give high torque to move on a gradient places. And then wheel radius. So if the vehicle have a high wheel radius, it will give more rotational, but it needs torque and speed. So this is also the main consideration to sizing the motor. And the last one is aerodynamic drag. So all the vehicle have an aerodynamic drag while moving. Here the motor sizing placing the important note. So the size of the motor, if it goes to the heavy for a small vehicle, the aerodynamic drag will be loose. So we need to consider the aerodynamic drag also to perform vehicle to give a good performance. Thank you.
Yes.
Hello. In step 1 we are going to see the vehicle parameters. In vehicle parameters, the first one is the mass. Mass is calculated including the chassis and the powertrain, the payload, and also the fluid which is in the vehicle. And the second one is vehicle radius, the tire and everything which has a correct circumference, and the drag coefficient, the dimensional value that represents the aerodynamic efficiency of the vehicle, which gives more efficient. And the last one is frontal area, the total projected area from the front view of the vehicle is called as frontal area. And the step 2 is top speed and efficient. And the top speed we will see that in the long road the car will go at a high speed at a certain extent.
So in step 3, we need to calculate forces. There are 4 types of forces, which is rolling resistance, and next one is aerodynamic drag. Third one is gradient resistance, and fourth one is acceleration force. So for the rolling resistance means it is the force that is opposing the vehicle's movement, which is the friction between the road and the tire. And second one is the aerodynamic force. It is the force that is opposing the vehicle moving, which is usually air. And third one is gradient, which is a gravitational force, like slope. When the vehicle is standing in slope, the car will be the gradient force, which is the force that is opposing the vehicle when it is standing in slope. Fourth one is acceleration force. It is the force that is required for the vehicle to accelerate to increase its speed. So that's the third step.
Yes, before going to the next step, let us have some activity. So the activity planned for today is the just a minute jam. Okay, so the topic for today's jam is the pros and cons of implementing EV in the motorsport. Yes, Keshav.
Hi. Let's see about like advantages and disadvantages of implementing EV in motorsports. And let's see, first I will say about the advantages, like insane acceleration. When compared to the IC engine sports car, like EV have like 100% full throttle and instant torque. And the rolling lug, which is the cooling system and the recharging, like and the thermal protection, it comes under the name like called rolling lug. Like when it is developing for the motorsport, and that is implemented in the day-to-day EV cars also. And then urban racing, due to like less pollution and less noise, these races can be conducted inside the cities also, like not unlike the remote tracks in the other countries. And then manufacturer interest. Recently, even Mahindra also into the Formula E. So, like other than Mahindra, many of the brands are showing interest because they have like more advantages in future on the EV. So they are evolving into the motorsports. And now let's see about the disadvantages. The sound factor. Like most of the motorsport fans are like attracted to those sounds and designs. When it comes to the EV, like they are somewhat disappointed with the sound. And next, weight management. Compared to the IC engines, the EV batteries are very high in weight. So, like low speed corners, and while like they have like sharp turning, they're getting struggled. So, because of weight constraint. And rage anxiety, which is when an opponent goes higher speed than the other. When this driver accelerates instantly, the battery drains so fast. And when it comes to pit lane also, when normal Formula and other sports, like maximum it will be like 3 seconds. When it comes to EV, it takes like 15 seconds to charge the battery or like replace the parts. And then when it comes to sustainability, like more than the fuel's emission, manufacturing racing batteries leave a more footprint. Yes, thank you.
Yes, that's a very good thing. Yes, we can resume these.
Let's come back now. Let's go with step 4. The step 4 is calculation of torque. So the torque, which includes the wheel torque and motor torque. So torque is nothing but the initial power required to move on, like to rotate a wheel or move on a vehicle. So the calculation is required, which is the step 4. Step 5 is calculation of power. So the power required to the vehicle, like calculation of the weight of the vehicle, which includes how much power required to move the vehicle. And that's it.
Yes, okay. Let us summarize the session. Yes.
So in this session, first we see the BLDC motor that was seen on last session, and then the important factors to sizing the motor. And then Sanjay shared his first and second step, like vehicle mass and then etc. And Mukiran shared in steps on consideration of forces, and also in between we seen an activity, the implementation of EV on a motorsport that was done by Keshav. And then other steps like consideration of vehicle torque and speed will be shared by the service. These are the things are seen on this session. Thank you.
Thank you.